everybody. I'm Nicole from Your Instructional Designer, and I'm here today with Michael Regert. Michael, can you tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Michael Regert. I'm a software development engineer and an engineering manager now at a learning company called Blackboard.
Yeah, Blackboard is pretty much, if you're in higher ed, you have heard that word many, many times over your career, I'm sure. So how did you wind up at Blackboard?
Really wanted to pursue education, had an opportunity to join them to lead up their efforts to develop their next cutting edge software that they're trying to release, and had an opportunity to join the development team to help change the direction that they're going and steer them in the right direction, I guess.
Yeah. Software engineering can mean a lot of things and cover a lot of bases, and obviously you need software engineers in all kinds of industries. So what compels you to go into the learning industry side of things?
I really love education. My wife's got her master's degree in early childhood education. I continued my education throughout. I got my bachelor's degree, but then I needed more education and decided to take classes at a community college in web development for a while. And then recently just did all my grad work at Harvard through their online program. And so using the online tools, using things like Blackboard I use Blackboard at the community college. It just really, I really enjoy it, and it just seemed like the right fit for me.
Awesome. Yeah. And so are you using Blackboard from the student end now? Because you said you were doing your degree, right?
Well, I did grad classes through Harvard. They actually use the competitor Canvas, which also was, in a sense, it was nice to be able to use the competitor and compare it to what we're doing. I did use Blackboard when I was at the Austin Community College, but Harvard actually uses Canvas. So
that's cool. So you got to have the user experience both from the student perspective for both, Blackboard and Canvas. That's really cool. And so what does your day-to-day look like? Because honestly, I don't know much about being a software engineer.
So I've recently transitioned to an engineering manager now, but as a software engineer, I was the lead of a development team of about 5 engineers. That encompassed, I work in the office with designers, visual designers, graphic designers, interactive designers. And so it's a matter of working with the product owners, understanding what a feature is that they're going to give us, a new feature, really understanding the use cases, working with the designers to understand how they designed it, why they designed it a certain way, kind of push back a little bit on them. Sometimes from an engineering point of view, you can go and say, if you did it this way, we could cut 2 or 3 months off of the development versus, whatever. And so it's really having an interactive role with them. And then from that point, it's just being able to lay out schedules. We use a process called Agile, which is basically just an iterative process to get features out much faster and get feedback much earlier. So we'll develop a feature, get it in front of customers early, get their feedback, make changes, and just really work through the latest features, working with lots of different people. I'm also a localization expert at at Blackboard. So I help review all the changes that go in for internationalizing the software in different languages.
Wow.
And then we also make sure that our software is handicap accessible and making sure that we drive that for anyone with accessibility issues.
That's a lot. That's amazing. I've used Blackboard both as a student and a teacher, so I'm just pretty much, I'm taking notes here. This is all really cool to me. And it's really interesting that I think Agile is pretty common for folks who are developing software, right?
It is, yeah. It's been around for a long time. I'm a certified Agile Scrum Master as well. And I really like the process. Basically allows you to go, develop software, make mistakes, recover very quickly, rather than the old process where you develop for, a year and a half, get it in front of people and be like, nope, this isn't what we really wanted, and back to the drawing board. So it's a lot of fun as a developer and manager to do that as well.
Yeah, from my side of the aisle, the course design and the learning design, there's like the whole battle between, do we use Addy or do we use Agile? And it's kind of what you were saying, sometimes if you don't use an iterative version, you get to the end and the client's like, but that's not what we signed up for. So it's nice to have these little sprints that go along.
It is. And, I'm working on a feature right now as a manager, pushing back saying, hey, we need to get this out. We've got a customer who really, really needs the feature over in the UK. What can we cut out of it to get them the feature? Let's make it the absolute best so that we can make it. But hey, look, this feature, they don't really need. Others want it, but they could get that later. So we start, it's a back and forth and really working through how can we deliver the best absolute quality that we can in the shortest amount of time. And Agile really allows us to do that.
Yeah. And that definitely sounds, again, like you've got that management thinking hat on, because it's easy, I think, to get lost in the weeds of, well, what's excellence and what can we just give people that's great versus what's going to have a return on investment and work for folks.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely we're striving to, get, obviously right now, get as many features out as we can, but the bottom line is making sure it's the highest quality that you can and making sure that it meets everybody's needs, like I said, including all languages and handicap accessibility. I mean, we just recently were able to go through an effort of making sure that the software was developed to do right to left languages. So all the Arabic and stuff like that. So we're making sure that we support everybody's learning.
How many countries, or how many languages, I should say, are you localized in? That's really interesting to me.
I believe it's 23. I believe that's 23 the last time I checked. I know they were adding more.
Awesome. So, if folks are interested in getting into the learning industry, and maybe we'll talk about this from your perspective, so not so much, where I'm coming from as a designer, but is there anything you would encourage them to do or a piece of advice that you would give them?
The advice I have for anyone kind of getting into engineering, just in general, is making sure that you go where your passion is. I definitely didn't start out in the education field. I actually worked in hardware and started out at Dell for 15 years, working on computers and software for them. And one of the reasons I got into education, like I said, my passion was really there. It was an area that I was really interested in pursuing and changing my career a little bit. I know so many people that have just kind of chased the dollar, if you will, as an engineer, especially in our field, where it's like jump company to company to make more money, but they really are miserable and they don't like what they're doing. And especially as a manager now, if employees don't enjoy what they're doing, they're not going to be as successful as employees who really are excited to get up in the morning and come do what we do. And so for me, when I got to the point in my career where I was just kind of bored or just not interested in getting up and doing it, that's the best time. And that's what I did. It's like, you know what? I love education. I love this. Let's go see what they have. And I've really, really enjoyed the move.
That's awesome advice. And I love that you're enjoying it. You can see your passion for education come through, and it's really cool. And again, like I said, I'm someone who's used Blackboard, and so you don't always have the connection to the people who are making it and putting it together, but it's so nice to see that, folks like you are leading the efforts and that they're really connected to what we're experiencing on the flip side, and that they want to make a great product.
Absolutely. And I think that really does help that I have used it. A lot of our designers have been instruction, teachers or instructional and used it. So they are coming from the point of view of both instructional and students as well. And so when we're approaching new features, we're looking at it from all aspects and making sure that it's not just, well, I think this is what they want. It's like, yeah, this is actually what they would want and how they would want to interact with it. So.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a great lesson for learning design too. Always thinking about that user experience.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that you would want to tell folks at home before I let you go?
Nothing comes to mind really. I just, it's a lot of fun. It's a great career to go into, and I really enjoy it.
Is there a place they should start? Maybe that's my last question for you.
Is there what?
A place they should start. So if they want to get into software engineering specifically for education, where would you tell them to begin?
Boy.
Big question.
I kind of fell into Blackboard, like I said, just because of my experience with them and various things. for any software engineer, it's understanding the core and the foundations of software and good software practices. When we're looking at hiring people, we make sure that they've got really good, solid engineering backgrounds and playing with the software that's out there and the different ones. And again, just kind of having that passion for education, I think really does help, but everyone can get into it. Like I said, I started out doing disk and server type software development at a hardware company, Dell, which is fantastic. And then moving into it as, it's a lot of fun to just switch and get into it, do totally different types of programming. So
sounds like just jump in, figure out what you like and just play with everything you can.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Michael. There are some real gems there, and I think people are going to really enjoy hearing what you have to say about the field. And I really appreciate you taking the time, because I know right now it's just crazy, crazy, crazy in the world of virtual learning and distance learning and learning management systems.
It is. It's super, super busy right now, but it's exciting time.
Yeah. I can't wait to see where we're headed and what we wind up with.
Yep. All right.
All right. Well, for those of you who are watching, if you want to learn more about Michael, you can read the description box below, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.